Today, I thought I would demonstrate and tell you a little bit about iron palm and the way we do it in the Qingyi Kung Fu Association. I'm going to demonstrate how we practice iron palm, iron fist, and at a later date, iron forearm. And I'm going to show you over here what we use to train and what you might need for your own practice. First things that we do is I introduce my students to Pichuan from Xingyi. And Xingyi's Pichuan is this movement and this posture right here. This is an open hand with the thumb, the little finger, and the index finger stretching away from one another. And this stretching opens up the hand and allows the qi to flow freely into the hand. Most of my students will do this for 2 or 3 years before they actually begin the practice of conditioning the hand with what is traditionally assumed to be iron palm. When they've completed that period and they've satisfactorily demonstrated to me that they understand Pichuan, then we move along to these 2-3 tools here on the table. Normal focus mitt, normal tie pad, and here's my secret weapon for my students, a bucket of corn. In the back, I have a jug of my own ditachao, very important stuff. The way we do iron palm in the air, which is a precedent before you move to doing iron palm on the table, is to slap the air like this. Very simple. Iron palm is very easy to learn, very easy to do, but requires dedication and persistence on the student's part. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate to you how we use the focus mitt as opposed to using a real iron palm pad, which I didn't want to spend $30 on and buy it at the store, so we're just using the focus mitt. Anything that you want to use is fine, as long as you continue to use it and practice regularly, you'll make progress. We practice Pichuan to learn how to open the hand up correctly. We hit the air to get the correct function and motion through our body. And after a few months or a couple of years, we start hitting the iron palm pad or the focus mitt. Normally, you will have an iron palm table made for your own practice. If you're serious, you're going to get an iron palm table. That means a very heavy-duty construction table that you're not going to break even if you hit the tabletop for 10 or 15 years. This table will break if I hit it too many times, so this is just for demonstration purposes. You got to have the table about your dantian level high, and on top of that you will place your iron palm pad or your focus mitt. And you'll proceed to hit the mitt the same way you hit the air, just like this. You just drop your hand. Palm first, turn the hand over, back of the hand. And the third surface of the hand that you're going to strike is the edge of the hand. So palm first, back of the hand, and then the edge of the hand. Really shit simple. So you can use the focus mitt on the table. You can use the tie pad. They both have slightly different qualities. You do the same thing with them. That's basically the training. This is the corn for our iron palm bucket. Not every school uses this, but I think the good schools will. We fill this with corn. This is dried corn, kind of industrial corn. And we use this with a thrusting action to make an iron palm, iron fist, iron hand. And we do this with this corn. It's got to be a little lower, right around the hip level. And you just thrust your hands into it, as you heard about the movies, thrusting your hands in iron ingots over fire. That's a bunch of bullshit. You don't want to kill yourself in the process. Now, you don't want to beat the hell out of the corn, just a regular rhythm with a modicum of force involved, and time will produce the desired results. Remember that Kung Fu means a lot of time spent pursuing something diligently until you get those results. So, this is a process that could last several years. So, we're in the basement now in our little school. It's little, but it's good. It serves our purposes. Um, we were thrusting our hands in corn last time, and corn gets all over the place, and it chips your fingernails, uh, which causes little problems. And so there's issues with using the corn. A lot of people may not use it, and like using an iron palm pad or tie pad, it's a process that takes a lot of time. It can take a couple of years. Some schools claim you can get iron palm in 100 days. I think the most you can get is microfractures. So you need the rest from your training. Your conditioning can cause more problems than its benefit is worth. So if you're going to practice iron palm, make sure you have a qualified teacher guiding you and giving you his advice. So most people hit a bag like this. They wear gloves like this. This is your typical 12 ounce or maybe 14 ounce. It's one of those weird German ones, man. And you get a heavy bag like this thing, and they beat that bag like this, right? Right? That's what they do. If you're practicing iron fist as part of your iron palm training, conditioning is key. So we don't wear the gloves for this part of the training. This bag is a solid bag. The bottom down here is like concrete. It's filled with about 100 kilos of dried corn, just like was in the bucket upstairs. This thing is a beast. If you hit it wrong, you're going to fracture your knuckles, you're going to sprain your wrist, you're going to break your wrist. This is not for kids to play around. Don't get excited and start beating your bag to death. I don't introduce any of my students to this bag until they can demonstrate to me they know how to throw a punch accurately and with perfect technique. So we do this bag bare knuckle. This is how we practice iron fist on this bag in conjunction with iron hand, iron forearm, and iron palm. And so forth. Now, everybody is right or left hand dominant. Normally, we practice both hands on this bag, sometimes, but we always practice the dominant hand. So that if I strike an opponent, I can worry about him going to the hospital, not my hand. And we do this training on the bag about twice a week, usually for 100 punches. These are the tools that you need if you want to practice iron palm. If you begin to practice at home, it would behoove you, it'd be a good idea to make yourself an iron palm table, one that's very strong, very sturdy, and could last several years. and to practice in a place that's not going to disturb your neighbors or your brother or sister or your kids, because practice the iron palm, well, it makes a little bit of noise. And you don't want to have the baby waking up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and crying when it needs to have a nap. So I also advise people to get a real iron palm pad that is usually made of hemp and traditionally would contain various herbs that upon striking the pad multiple times turn those herbs into mush, and the subsequent oils secreted from those herbs get into your hand and help produce a conditioning effect. Since we don't have those traditional herbs and I don't have 40 bucks to spend on a hemp pad, I have made my own detta gel. This is my second batch. My first batch was miraculous. I wish I had it. But this one's pretty good. So after conditioning your hands on the Tide pad or the Focus Mitt, the corn, and the heavy bag, you'll want to stick your hands into something to help the healing in the hand and to further toughen up the skin and to help facilitate the development of conditioning in the wrist and the fingers and the knuckles. So for that, you have to get a didajal. Didajal means strike, hit, wine. I made my batch out of vodka. I think vodka works well. Any high alcoholic content, proof, high proof alcohol will help extract the necessary ingredients from the herbs into the solution so that you can soak your hand into it and then rub that golden elixir into your knuckles, your joints, and into your skin. Uh, Other teachers and myself believe this is a very valuable part of your training. I wouldn't neglect this if I were you. If I were you, I would get the job first. This particular batch has been sitting for about 6 years, and the longer it sits and brews, the stronger it gets. So if you plan on practicing iron palm in this lifetime, you should probably start making your ditajang now. In addition, there are Qigong practices. I mentioned Pichuan early in this video. Pichuan is held in this posture with your eyes focused on index fingertip, your mind focused on the breath, and the breath sunk in your dantian, while your body obtains a sung state. That means a relaxed, but not wet as a noodle, relaxed state. Just like I showed you in the other video, that's Pichuan. Additional to Pichuan, to make Qigong, develop your iron palm, there's old man stroking beard. Inhale up, exhale down. All the while focusing your mind on the breath and concentrating the breath in the dantian. Now there's various acupuncture points on your body that you can play around with, like Ming Men in your back, the Hui Yin in the bottom, Bai Hui at the top of your skull, various acupuncture points that you can do all kinds of things by leading the qi there. It helps facilitate the qi sinking into the bones so that in combat, when it's necessary, it'll be there to protect you. I can guarantee you that qi is real. I can't prove it to you, but trust me, it's very, very real. And you'll want to develop it or begin to develop it before you start slamming your hand into a bag filled with 200 pounds of corn. That would be the right process. Qigong, light tapping on the focus mitt, light tapping on the Tide pad, corn, heavy bag, get your punch down, take your time practicing, and eventually work to condition the hand so that when you strike an opponent, he is damaged, not your hand. Do the Qigong, that helps everything heal up and speeds up the process whereby you can actually obtain something worthwhile. Thanks for coming.